I turned 20 last year, and I genuinely think that the more you grow as a young person, the more you become intentional with your decisions, especially decisions that have a lifetime effect, or decisions that are eventually going to shape a major part of your life. I think the more you grow and the more mature you get, the more you begin to take intentional decisions or be more intentional with your decisions. And also, you now begin to even reevaluate some of the decisions that you've taken in the past, right? Because you now begin to realize, right, that every of the decisions that you are taking now, they have a major role to play in the future that you are looking forward to. And you now begin to consider the future, right, even in taking present decisions, because you are aware that every of the decisions that you are taking now, especially really important decisions, they are like bricks, right? They are major part. If you are building, let's say a building is being constructed, right? Let's say a house, for example, now, right? And let's say in the middle of the wall, a particular brick, right, has issues. It is going to affect a major part of the house, right? Because the brick, even though it is just one brick, or maybe it is just two bricks, they form important parts of the building, right? So every of the decisions that you are taking, they are like fitting into that particular building, and then they are forming a major part of that building. So every of the decisions that you are taking, you realize that they have long-term effect, especially decisions like, let's say, what course to study in school or what career path to pursue. And so you now begin to really pay more attention to the decisions that you take, and you begin to evaluate them, and you begin to see the future relevance of the relevance of the decisions you are taking in the present to the future. And in the same vein, you also consider the future even while taking present decisions. And personally, I think I'm at that point again where I'm just evaluating some of the decisions I've taken, and I'm just trying to edit and adjust whatever I can still adjust, right? I'm currently at the point where I am not confused, right? So it is not like I'm confused, but I'm at that point where it feels like I need to take another decision yet again. And this particular decision is going to form like the basis on which my future, in a big way, right, is going to be built on, right? I said the foundation on which my future is going to be built on in a big way, right? When I say in a big way, I mean in a major way, right? It's a very important decision, and so many things are just running through my mind, because um, I wish I was more informed, right? I was discussing with my best friend some days back. Not some days back, this was yesterday, but I was also discussing with some of my friends a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, and I remember telling them that I wish I was just more informed. I wish I took more informed decisions. And I am not regretting, honestly. I genuinely do not have regret, because one thing that I've noticed from my life, when I look at the pattern of my life, when I look at my life backwards, right, it looks like every of the decisions I've taken, as much as it might seem like I could have taken better decisions, at the end of the day, it looks like they are all part of the script. I was talking with my best friend yesterday, and he was just telling me that, we advised you then, blah blah blah, and all of that. And I was telling him that my story is interesting now because of the experience that I had, right? At 17, right, I resumed into uniben, into University of Benin. This was I resumed. I think I resumed on August 6th, 2000 and 2021, right? This was few months after I did IJMB, right? That's A levels, and then I also did Jamb that year again. This was the second Jamb I would do, but then Uniben gave me admission with the first Jamb I took in 2020, right? There was a delay caused by COVID-19, right? And so that is why I did Jamb in 2020 and I used it to enter school in 2021. In case you are wondering why it took that long, so you remember that it was COVID and it spoiled a lot of things. But then that 2021, after doing Jamb that year again, and after doing A levels IJMB, I got admission to Uniben. I went to Uniben, and then just like 2 months into Uniben, I decided to leave Uniben. I called my parents. I called my mom. Right, it was my mom that now told my siblings. But I called my mom and I told her that I was leaving, and I left after the first semester exams, and I have not gone back since then. Right, I was just 17, and so I mean, one would think that I would regret that decision, right? I mean, it wasn't just like I left because I felt like leaving. No, that was a decision that I intentionally took. Now, before then, I would have taken a better decision that would not even have made me go to Uniben to study the course I was studying, that made me eventually leave, right? But then, looking back now, I'm glad all that happened, right? I'm glad all that happened because eventually my story, right, it makes my story interesting. But it's not just about making my story interesting, but that was like the foundation on which my life for the next 2 years after then was formed on, right? That was like the foundation that my life was formed on. And eventually, looking back, I'm grateful that all of that happened. So I'm aware that every of the experiences I'm having now, as ridiculous as they may be, as ridiculous as they may sound, they all form a part of my growth, right? They have individual roles that they play in forming me into the kind of person that I want to be, into the kind of person that I should be, into the kind of future that I want to build, into the kind of person that God wants me to be, right? So I look back and I'm grateful at some of those experiences that I had. I am not regretting, because there is actually nothing to regret. If at all, there is everything to be grateful about. And I'm not even trying to face it. I'm not trying to encourage myself. I'm literally just telling you what it is. Like, if I begin to list some of the achievements I had after leaving Uniben that I would never have gotten if I was still in Uniben, you would actually be grateful with me. But what I'm trying to say, in essence, is now I'm at the point where I want to take another decision. No, I'm not. I'm not leaving school again, right? I mean, by the way, I go back to school in 2023. Yeah, I would have gotten back to school in 2022, right? I left Uniben in December 2021, right, after my first semester, and I took Jamb in like April of 2022, right? So I mean, I would have gotten back to school that same 2022. So it wasn't like I had issues with school. I mean, I just had to say that so that maybe young people seeing this will not be thinking of dropping out, because I mean, right? But what I'm trying to say is that I'm back into school, and I've been back into school for like 2 years now, about 2 years, over a year anyway, since 2023. And I just had to say that to create a sense of balance in what I'm sharing, right? But I'm trying to say that I'm currently at the point where I want to take another decision, and I'm not leaving school this time around. It's not like I want to leave school, but it's a decision that is also going to majorly impact my future. And it just makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, that was why I started this video the way I started. That as you grow, since some things become clearer to you, right? Some things just begin to make sense. You just begin to reevaluate some of your decisions, and you just begin to see that you could have taken better decisions, right? Um, yeah, I think growth is beautiful, honestly. And not just growth. When I say growth now, I'm not just talking about growth in age, right? I'm not just talking about um growth as an age. I'm talking about growth generally, like even maturing, just developing yourself, just maturing and all of that. And yeah. See, what I would say is that if you're a young person watching this, I genuinely think that um because not everyone would be as lucky, right? Let me use the word lucky. I mean, I don't accept that I'm lucky anyways. I feel like God has just been good. But if you're a young person watching this right now, what I will say is that before you take decisions, right, especially if you're a teenager, before you just take decisions and be hell bent on the decisions, I genuinely think that you should seek information, and you should consider the future impact of the decisions you are taking now. What impact would how would the decisions you are taking now impact the kind of future that you want? Honestly, this is one thing that as young persons we just look over, right? We don't consider this. We don't really consider, okay, what is going to be the impact of the decisions I'm taking now on the kind of future that I want, right? Because if I had considered this earlier before now, I would have taken better decisions. And mind you, again, I am not regretting. I have no regret whatsoever. But there are so many young persons that if they were in my shoes, they would be regretting, right? I mean, the only reason why I have no regret now is because I maximized the time where the gap, right? Especially the gap between when I was out of school and then coming back into school. I maximized that, and that has transformed my life in no small way. But I'm also trying to say that looking at the decisions that I took leaving school then, and the decision that I am also considering right now that I want to take, which has nothing to do with leaving school, by the way, please, let's be clear with that, right? um One thing I can just say, right, I don't want to give clear details yet, right? Eventually I'm going to give really clear details about the decision I'm about to take now, but I'm just sharing this because of another young person that probably is watching this right now, that especially if you are a teenager, if you are between the ages of 20, there is that temptation to overlook the future impact of the decisions you are taking now. You are taking decision now just because of your present, right? You are considering your present in taking decisions that are going to impact your future, and that is a big mistake so many young persons are making. I wish I had someone tell me this when I was just 17. I wish I had someone tell me, I mean, I did really amazing things too that are also going to impact my futures when I was 17, but then I could have taken better decisions even in other aspects of my life, and not just the professional or the financial aspect of my life, but even other aspects of my life, like in my academics. But I wasn't well informed. I'm not blaming anyone, and I'm not shifting the blame from myself, but I'm just trying to say it as it is, right? I wasn't well informed. I had information, right? But I didn't have enough information. And at the same time, too, I wasn't considering the effect of the decisions I was taking, right? The impact on the kind of future that I wanted. Imagine I was picking courses, I was considering risk in picking courses that I want to study in school, right? I was considering that, okay, civil engineering, if I fear heights, and I was considering that. I was considering, oh, I mean, it was more like I was being emotional with the decisions I was taking, right? I wasn't looking at the kind of future that I wanted in taking those decisions. I was instead considering how I felt at the moment. I was instead considering my fears at the moment. I was instead considering my 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 different things that actually do not have long-term impact, were the things I was considering to take decisions and to just decide, which looking back now, it doesn't really make sense. Honestly, if I'm going to be very very honest, it doesn't make sense, and I would have taken better decisions if I was if I had this information when I was younger. In case you are looking forward to pick from this video, because I mean this is just me ranting technically, but I'm sure you've picked one or two. But if you are still looking forward to pick, what I will say is that if you're a young person, or maybe if you are not a young person, maybe you have siblings that are younger than you, that are still teenagers. Maybe they are still in secondary school, or maybe they just graduated from secondary school, or maybe they're even in university. You may want to share this video with them, right? In case you are thinking this video does not apply directly to you, please share it with them. Because I wish someone shared this video with me, right? And I mean, coming from a 20-year-old, I feel they will be able to relate to it better, because we are still around this same age bracket technically. So do not consider just how you feel at the moment. Do not consider just your present fears. Do not consider just your present feelings. Do not consider just your present thoughts in taking decisions that are going to impact your future in no small way. Do not consider how you feel at the moment. Do not consider your emotions in taking decisions that are going to impact your future. Consider your future in taking present decisions. Ask yourself, this decision that I'm taking, how will it impact the kind of future that I want to build or that I'm building, right? Because at the end of the day, you realize that the future that you are looking forward to, like I used to tell my audience on WhatsApp back then, that the future that you are looking forward to, you are already building that future, right? 10 years ago, you were looking forward to a bright future, right? You are currently building that bright future that you want. It's almost like the light has been switched on, and then you have been placed with the switch or with the controller. I don't know what they call it, right? And so you are the one that is going to tune it. You are the one that is going to increase the brightness, right? The power is in your hands, right? You are the one that will switch on the bulb, or you are the one that will turn on the switch or turn off the switch. The power is in your hands, and so you have a lot of roles, and you have a major part to play in actually creating the bright future that you want. And everything starts from your decisions, because your decisions, they are like the bedrock of the future that you want. Let me know if this video helps you in the comment, and don't forget to like this video so that it can reach other young persons, and don't forget to also hit that subscribe button, yeah, if you want to see more rants on this channel. I'll see you in the next one.